Hey, this is John Bunn, a wedding filmmaker, photographer, and educator based in Oklahoma, and you are listening to the Workflows podcast. Let me get my eye lined up with you one sec. Nope, the other way. I've got this desk, and I try to match my eye line to yours. There we go. That'll be nicer for edit purpose. Video guy.
Isn't it nice having a desk that's adjustable like that? I love it.
Yeah.
I have my cameras with the Elgato prompter, and that is not attached to my desk. It's actually on a C-stand behind my desk with all my lights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could raise and lower, but the camera stays where it is.
I found some kind of clamp to go with this camera, and it just goes with it, and I'm just like, it's changed my life. Because I used to have to go over there and mess with it based on how much my back is hurting and how straight I want to sit and stuff, or if I want to stand. So anyway, I'm a dork. I'll be quiet now.
No, I love this stuff. This is one of the reasons why I really wanted to start the podcast in the first place. Was I'm obsessed with workflows, and something as simple as how you mount your camera to your desk for people who do a lot of video calls or podcasts or whatever it is. It's a simple thing that really can make a big difference. Yeah, for your workflow overall, right?
Absolutely. I'm here for all of it. So,
I mean, I went as far as I've got Apple Shortcut to adjust all my lights with a click, and it's also on my Stream Deck, one button, just so everything's in place with no effort. So.
Same. I think we might be friends. Did we just become best friends? I think so.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So I'm excited to dive into video today, because for those listening who may not be aware, Imagen is launching a video app as well. We've had the photo app for over 4 years at this point, and video, while it may be new to Imagen behind the scenes, it's existed for over 4 years. It just hasn't been touched in over 4 years until more recently. John, you may not have known that either.
I did not.
But so we have 3 co-founders, and when Yoav, the co-founder that actually started Imagen over 4 years ago himself, when he coded the original prototype, he coded some video aspects to it as well. Cool. So it's been there in the underlying infrastructure, just dormant. So it's exciting to see some movement on it. So I'm excited about this because, for one, you are a videographer, right? You not only film weddings. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is film still the terminology, the right word to use?
You might make some people mad. I mean, a lot of people call themselves filmmakers, but they're making cookie cutter things. A lot of people call themselves cinematographers, videographers. Right. My favorite is videographer. But I mean, it depends on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to other wedding filmmakers, I will say I'm a wedding filmmaker. Mm-hmm. If I'm putting it on the internet or as SEO, it's wedding videographer. I try not to take myself too seriously. I'm not too romantic about either of it. I don't need to. It's my art, so I'm this guy. But, the true filmmakers, I think probably are frustrated with other people saying filmmaker, because it's a lot of times not really a film. So
Right. Yeah. And the fact that it's not even on film anymore, the fact that it's purely a digital thing, I don't know. It's one of those things when my parents and stuff, we're at a family thing and we've got our phones and they're like, hey, did anybody film that? Mm-hmm. Nope. But I got it recorded.
I digitized that. Yeah.
Digitized. Anyway, so not only are you a filmmaker, a videographer, but you're also doing photography at weddings. You're also teaching wedding videography and filmmaking to other creators. Mm-hmm. So it's really exciting. You have a lot going on, and I'm curious if we can dive into one thing in your video workflow that has been working extremely well for you. Now, I know that you've been using Imagen for photo for quite some time at this point. It's been working well, and you're actually in the beta testing group for the video side. And I know that Imagen will, once we have the personal profiles in there's going to be a lot that you'll be able to dig in to really get it, fine-tuned for yourself. I'm curious overall, one thing on the video side that has been going really well in your workflow, wherever it might fall.
Yeah, and thanks for the intro, having me here. I am, in my intro, I did say I'm a wedding filmmaker. I'm a photographer, videographer, educator, podcast host and stuff myself. And I get a unique perspective of talking to tens of thousands of wedding videographers and teaching them and hearing what's working for them and stuff. And so when you guys asked about me being on this, I was super excited. And as a Imagen user and ambassador, I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. So thank you for that. As far as like my workflow now, this is my 19th wedding season. And so I've personally filmed, videoed over 500 events at this point, 500 weddings. Had a lot of wedding cake, and I've been just all over the world shooting weddings. And so different seasons in different parts of my business workflows have changed. I used to be the sole editor. I've had employees. Right now I hire an outsourcing company to do most of my editing for me. So like the workflow that has really been working for me and is actually my partners in outsourcing right now. Like I'm able to, like I filmed a wedding in Dallas, Texas 2 weeks ago. And we had several nights, Thursday night welcome party, Friday night rehearsal, Saturday wedding. And at the hotel every night I'm uploading all the footage to Dropbox, and they're giving me next day teasers that I can color grade, that I can put a final touch on. But like that workflow of me being like, I know that as soon as I get to the hotel room or as soon as I get back to my office, I'm able to get that uploaded to Dropbox or wherever. And I have a team of people that's not just like, here, I threw you a wedding film, you're going to throw me back magic. But I've worked with them and I look at them as like an employee that's in the office next door. And so there's this collaboration where I can get that to them. And as I'm like recouping from the wedding, I just did one in Sedona last weekend and got home, was exhausted. All my footage was uploaded. They've already sent me a teaser from it. And I'm just like, it's in version 2 already. So that workflow, just to make it really seamless for me to say, I'm getting the stuff I hate doing off of my plate, which is culling and organizing and getting the story kind of put together. But I like directing once it's kind of like in a form. I'm like, this is what I want the film to do. This is how I want it to be. And I'm looking at myself as kind of the lead cinematographer as well as the director. And then I have editors that are there ready to go. And so for me, that workflow has allowed me to add photography. And, with photography, Imagen I did a shoot last night and it's like, it's almost done already. And I haven't done anything yet. And so, but like the workflow side of things, I am addicted to efficiency. I'm an Enneagram 3 and I want things to be very efficient and very organized and very, I love when things are happening behind the scenes when I'm not physically doing the work. And so what that does for me is allows me to get back a version 1 of that wedding in Texas already. And it's their 10-minute film. And I'm like, here are my 100 notes on it. Like I can be fresh, say, make these changes, do this thing. They give me a version 2 and then I say, great, give me the project file. I'm going to color grade. I'm going to do all this stuff to kind of take it over the top. But like that workflow in itself has freed me up about 40 hours per wedding on the wedding film video side of things. And so I'm going to have to say that that's my favorite like currently right now in the video world. And you mentioned the beta color grading and I'm sure we'll end up talking about it, but that's kind of the cherry on top for me. It's been so helpful already, just not having to spend the countless hours going into my log footage and every single clip and making it. So anyway, I don't know if that answers all the question for you.
Yeah, it does. I am curious, a couple things. One, the team that you're outsourcing, that you're doing a Dropbox dump of the video files. They're doing the initial cull and getting you back teasers each day. Is that team overseas? Is that team back at home? Is it people that you've met in person? It's only been a virtual thing? Like how does that?
Yeah.
What's that look?
So I found a company online. They ended up becoming sponsors of our podcast. I've been friendly with them for 8 years. Slowly started to send them projects, ones that I kind of didn't want to do. Just like, here, take it off my plate. It's not a portfolio piece. I just need it to be clean. I need it to, and just working alongside their team, they kind of became my team. And so I've met the CEO, the owner, a handful of the employees in person. They've been at retreats that I've been at, building relationship. And from there, it is like there's a lot of them that are overseas. There's a lot that are in the States, but there are 2 or 3 editors that have all of the notes and understand my style and understand. And it's a lot of give and take, a lot of feedback where I'm not just like, I don't like that. I'm like, hey, the greens need a little bit, cooled down or whatever. Or, hey, I don't love the exit sign in the background, or just little things that are, so it is a process. Like it's taken a year or so to like really get them kind of all on the same page to where I know as soon as I upload that footage and give it to them, they've got songs figured out for me that they know I will want. They know how to cut it to make it look luxurious and high end and elevated and all these things, so that boom, that next day I've got a 15-second little thing. And then like within a week I had a 1-minute teaser, and then with 2 weeks they were done. And, during that time I'm able to go do more photo shoots, do my sales calls, do all the things that I want to do. And some people love that side of things. And I think that's what I would say to the listener. It's like, where do you have a bottleneck of things that you hate that you keep saying you're going to do? And how can you create a workflow, or how can you create a system that it gets done for you, or without you having to, like I don't mow my own yard because I can, that's not because I'm lazy. I actually enjoy it, but it's like, we have 3 acres. It's a big yard.
That's a big
I'm
yard.
paying somebody, and I'm going to be able to either spend time with my family in the pool or edit. It's like I can hear the lawnmowers buzzing by my office. I'm like, okay, great. That's taken care of. It's not a 6-hour process, and I'm exchanging dollars for time. And to me, as an efficient Enneagram 3, it's like, man, if I can pay $150 to go get somebody to mow my yard, what can I be doing with that time? And same thing with the edits. They're not just throwing me an edit that's random. They've studied my style. They know what's important to John Bunn Films, and they don't hit the mark ever. It's always like 80%. It's maybe 85% of the way there. Then I chat with them and get them across the finish line with the film. And it just allows me to be able to create things I never would have created.
Yeah. It's funny. You bringing up like things that you might enjoy but don't want to do, so you get that time back with the family, whatever it might be, right? So my wife and I do that for house cleaning, right? We pay for somebody to come and clean our house every 2 weeks, because otherwise we've got one day that's a weekend day, the only day that we could do it, wiped out. That's all we're doing the whole day, right? So to us, it's like we'd rather spend the money so that we could go to the playground with the kids or go swimming or whatever it might be. Whereas mowing the lawn, I don't have 3 acres, but enough that I needed a ride on, and that's
outsourcing as well.
Yeah. Hey, but it's my 1 hour plus, a little over an hour of like me time to just like zone out, listen to an audiobook, listen to music, ride the mower. And to me, I'm riding the mower for fun, and the grass just happened to get mowed as like an extra bonus.
It's a thing that happened to me I'm 40 now, but like somewhere around 32 or 33, I would just like watch videos online of people mowing yards, or watch. I'm just like, when did I become my grandfather? Like, I'm just standing on the side watching someone push the leaves out of my yard this year. Just like, my wife was like, babe, what are you doing? And I was like, I guess I've just been standing here drinking a coffee, watching them blow the leaves out of our yard for 30 minutes. But yeah, I think
there is something satisfying.
Very satisfying and interesting. Like like Atomic Habits is one of my favorite books, and just like creating habits that trigger rewards or create things that trigger the next good thing. A few years ago, I really I'd gotten up about 20 pounds heavier than I wanted to be. And I was like, my habits are off. And I started with no food after 7 p.m. And I filled up one of these little water bottles at night and just stuck it on my countertop. So the next morning it would be room temperature and ready for me to just like guzzle 24 ounces of water first thing in the morning. And that would, I would get up and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be healthy today. That's I'm going to drink that water. Now my next thing is I know I'm going to go walk for 30 minutes. And after that, I know I'm going to stretch. And it kind of like builds these systems to where it was like, oh, I've lost 30 pounds in the last 2 years and I can run 3 miles without stopping, and I can do, and it's like all these things that I do now started with, I'm going to just get a cup of water ready in the morning. And that's how I look at all of the things that I'm doing in my business of like, man, I'm backlogged, or I hate this, like with photo, like I can't sing Imagin's praises enough, where it's like, I hate culling and I hate the putting the base layer of edit on the whatever. And so I'm so addicted to the fact that it's like what used to take me 6 hours for a session takes me 30 minutes or whatever. Yeah. And so those little tweaks are what I'm always looking for, because they add up to a big difference. When you invest $1 a day for your whole life, that's like, oh my goodness, I'm a multimillionaire or whatever, as opposed to like a $5,000 chunk here and a $2,000 chunk there. So that's what I'm heavily focusing on, so that I can be more efficient, so that I can do more of the things that I love.
Yeah. On the photo side, you're using a profile that you made trained on your own edits, or using a, okay. So on the video side, which right now we don't have personalized profiles, is there a video profile that you've tried that you enjoy above the rest? I've
tried a couple of them. The names of them are leaving me. I've done a few projects. So what I've been doing is pulling in some of my teasers that have been edited for me and say, hey, don't color grade these. Let me run these through the system. There's two of them. One that's a little more luxurious. I forget the name of it. And then I just tried one that felt a little more standard, just to see if it would give me a base look, so that I could then add my LUT, because I have a LUT of my own that has been created. And so like where I'm at with it right now is it's like, it's almost there for me. And as soon as I know that I can get it in there with my color, like I'm watching what it's doing inside of Premiere, and I'm just like, man, this is, I can't tell you how many classes I've taken and how many hours I've spent on just understanding color grading and scopes. And I think that's very important. But what I love about it on this efficiency side of things, and some people are like anti using AI, and I get it. And they're like, you're not being an artist, and I get it. I'm a business owner that uses a creative art field, and like, to me, if I can shave hours of time off of something, I'm going to do it. I don't find the joy in doing something that's monotonous, that could be done with a click of a button. That's just me. So anyway, I know in depth how to color grade at this point. I've made tutorials on it. I know how to do that. And it's like, if my computer knows, if Imagen knows this is the style, this is where it needs to get to the brightness, this is where the contrast, this is where the greens, the blues, all the different curves, everything that I do, and it's learning me, like the idea that that's going to save, like I will spend a full day color grading an 8-minute film, like a full day, and 20 weddings to 30 weddings a year. So a month of time, a month and a half of work days, just color grading films. And so, the two, I forget the names. If you said them, I would know the names that stand out.
There's True to Life, Motion of Light, Natural Flow, Visual Drift, Harmonica, Frame One, True Form might be the one you're thinking, Prime Motion, and Modern Muse.
Yeah, I think True Form, and there was one that's True to Life, I think, so that I tried. I'm still messing with it because it's new, of course. But yeah, I was very skeptical. Like, what's this going to do, or how's it going to work? And just the way that it runs through media encoder and all the different things that it's doing, I'm just like, okay, this, like, I didn't know what to expect, because video, as you know, video is a completely different ball game than photo. I mean, photo you can shoot raw, and video you can shoot raw, but most people don't, and I don't, just because I don't want to have 5 terabytes per wedding of footage, but. So just shooting in log versus shooting in, a baked in profile. And like, there's just a lot more. I say it to people all the time. I do both video and photo, and it's like, video's so much harder. Like, it just is.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of moving pieces, pun intended, in video versus photo. I mean, there's still a lot on both, but yeah, I agree. Video is a lot more to worry about. Any other workflow aspect? I'm actually curious, because I do technically, I guess I do hybrid, because I photograph proposals, and when I do it, I've got GoPro, I've got an Insta360 Go 3S So like I'm recording video at the same time, but it's not my focus, right? I'm giving some BTS video footage to my clients as a value add. So I am curious if there's a workflow aspect that's going well that like you couldn't imagine yourself not doing behind the camera when doing video that like just changes the game for you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So what really changed the game for me, like little context, I am not in the luxury market, I wouldn't say, but a lot of my wedding films are pushing around a $20,000 mark for shooting, 20,000 and above. There's some that are under, but so I'm spending, like people that are working with me, it's an elevated brand. They want beautiful, like color is really important. The ability to show off the wealth and design without it being pretentious, like, and just being at a wedding and understanding how to be with people that have wealth. So that context is like, what was really important for me was being able to get really good color consistently on the go every time. And I kept not being able to do it with my camera. And I would get back to the editing bay and be like, why does the color look nothing like what was on my screen? And so the workflow that I finally figured out what I really needed was I have purchased external monitors that go on my cameras, and that workflow allows me to input my LUT into the monitor and shoot log on my camera, but it shows me on the monitor exactly what's going to be in the computer whenever I get to the editing bay, and the screen is 7 inches instead of 2.5 inches. So like I can just see so much better. I like having a small footprint, but people are always asking me like, how do you get those colors? What are you shooting in? How's that working? I had to understand how to shoot in log. I had to understand how to, Kelvin temperature. I don't do any auto anything, but like the workflow of just having that monitor, being able to say, okay, this is I know exactly, like it's going to match, frame for frame, because I would get back into the editing bay and be like, this is blue. Why is this blue? I shot it warm. What's going on? And then I was shooting an auto white balance and different things like that. And so updating like my education so that I could, like a lot of people just buy tools, say, I got a new light. I got a new drone. Why am I not? And it's like, well, you didn't learn what was going on or how to really use the equipment. And so to me, that was just a one that came straight off the top of the head of like shooting on the wedding day. It allows me to get that beautiful cinematic, luxurious footage that I know that I'm in focus, movement, live events. I like shooting at low apertures. And so like, I would think I was in focus on a shot on my little LED. And then now with the 7-inch monitor, I've got focus assist and different tools in there. It's just like, I'm locked in. I know I'm not overexposed. I know that like all these things. And it's just become a natural part of me being able to say, run and gun. I'm able to get very consistent colors. And whenever I started really getting consistent colors and consistent look in my films, that's whenever I was going from, a $7,000 to $10,000 to up to 20 or above, like really honing that in alongside my brand, of course. So two questions to follow up on this. One is, I know that the monitor is going to be wired. It's not a wireless monitor, but even with that, the fact that the monitor is in real time having to process the log video footage and apply the LUT and output it potentially 1080p, 4K, whatever the monitor is there a slight lag? If you were to look at your camera screen and then the monitor together, are they like perfect? No. Yeah, it's very accurate. Small HD is who I use for their monitors, but like, so basically it's just laying the LUT on top of it's not actually processing the LUT into the footage. It's just putting it on top of whatever the log footage, like I can turn it off with one button and you see, oh, it's log. So it basically just embeds the color profile on top of whatever's on the screen. So it's just basically an HDMI port straight to the monitor. So there's no lag. It's not getting hot. Great. It's not. I mean, they're expensive. I think that monitor is almost $2,000. The one that I have, just So I mean, there are cheaper ones out there. I haven't used those.
You also mentioned like 20K for a wedding, right? Is that just doing video, or is that video and photo?
It depends. Most of the time, like my video, like I started video in 2007 and built a brand with that. A couple of years back, I brought on photography, and it hasn't quite caught up to the prices that I was charging with video. And so video typically, like I did a wedding last year that was 2 days in Oklahoma, 2 days in Oregon. It was just video. They had an Indian ceremony in Oklahoma and a Western ceremony in Oregon. I think I charged like 36K for that. And there's technically like 2 weddings in one. A lot of the weddings last year were like 1 day, anywhere from 18 to 22,000. I'm sorry, video only 18 to 22,000. This year I lowered prices a little bit. The market felt a little stale for me. I wasn't getting the bookings I wanted. So I lowered my video prices to anywhere like 12 to 15 kind of starting out. And then the photo was more 7 to 10. And so it just depends on, like if I've got, like a client that I really want, I will customize a proposal. I'm doing a wedding next weekend for like 24, and it's video and photo, but it's like 1 videographer, 1 photographer, and then 1 hybrid shooter. So they're kind of like helping do both. So I'm making more than I would have on video. I'm building my photo portfolio. So I'm still kind of like in the catch up phase with my photo side of stuff, but those are averaging more in the 7 to 10,000 range for my photos. And I've been willing to lower.
The pricing is incredible. Like the fact that you're making that on weddings, especially in 2025, right? Where it's, as you said, like it's a lot of people are struggling just to book, right? So the fact that you're doing it and getting those prices is really good.
I definitely don't want people to think I'm trying to come off as pretentious or anything. And numbers are always interesting to talk about. I talk about them a lot on my podcast and stuff, but like, I only say that just because I want people to have transparency. I'm not trying to, I don't feel cool. I love making good money, but I'm not like,
of course,
look at me, I'm cool because, I made this much or whatever. But like I've booked a couple weddings this year for $5,000 because I really just wanted the wedding and it was awesome. And I wanted to be part of it. And that was like the lowest I went on one wedding actually. But point being is like, I'm always gauging the market. If I have enough bookings, I've got 4 or 5 for next year already. So I've been like keeping my prices high. But if I had none, by the time November got here, I'll be pulling those prices back down. So it's always,
but also like you're working your butt off, right? You're putting out quality work. So you've obviously built the reputation to keep getting bookings at the prices that you want. And as you said, sometimes you reduce the prices. So there's give and take, and I think it's really cool to see that, like I said, in 2025, right? You're still able to do what you want, how you're doing it, and
it's been the most work that I've had to do in the last 10 years to get the bookings that I was kind of wheeling and dealing in October, November to get a handful of bookings for this year, and then like really showed off those bookings on social media. And if you want to book me, in every day in my stories, new couple just signed, new couple. So people that were on the fence, it kind of built some urgency. But I think I'm sitting at 23 weddings right now for this year, and I think 4 for next year. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's move into an area where you might be struggling with. So what part of your this I guess could be the business overall, right? What part of your business workflows are you struggling with, and that you're taking the time to really work through and try to improve and make better?
Yeah, it's funny. As a achiever type, Enneagram 3 type, it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm perfect.
Everything's perfect.
And then I'm like, wait a second. No, I would say the hardest part for me is the administration, the admin side of stuff. I mean, I've got, a CRM that automates a lot of things, taxes, emails going out with payments, stuff like that. But there will be things that are just like, oh, I need to mail a gift to a new client or a hard drive to somebody, and I know that there's automated ways to do that, but like little things that are just little one-off things like, oh shoot, that client messaged me and said they lost their film from 7 years ago. Do I still have it? I need to go get a hard drive out and find it and upload, like stuff that doesn't make me money immediately or make any difference in the business are really hard for me to get organized and in order. So to me, I think I keep saying this to my wife. It's just like, I'm running this business and this podcast and education platform. I've got people helping, but I don't just have like a personal administrative assistant that I can just say, here you go, I don't want it. Here you go, I don't want it. So that's kind of hard because it's not worth a full-time salary and I don't have enough tasks, but they stack up to about every 2 weeks. I'm like, well, I guess I'm taking a day to do all the stuff that's been driving me crazy. Administrative, that's where I'm at. If you have any tips for me, I'll take them.
Well, I mean, there's definitely virtual assistants that would work part-time. Like if you were to say, I definitely need every 2 weeks, I need you for 2 days, 2 full days, right? There are VAs that would build a contract for you exactly what you need, right? And maybe that would change over time where you need them for 3 days every 2 weeks or something. But to get started, yes. I think you could find fairly easily a VA that would be flexible, not necessarily looking for somebody to have them every single day doing like something, but knowing that they need you need them on a consistent basis.
And I don't have a VA, but I have an assistant that does some of like those kinds of tasks. I think where I get bottlenecked is like there's a VHS tape on my desk right now that someone mailed me to digitize for their wedding film. And so like I just need to mail it back to them. Like it's just there. The mother of the bride was like, hey, can we get our wedding film back? Because it's like their wedding film from the 80s. Yeah. And I'm like, a virtual assistant can't do that. And I need someone to come into my studio and clean it and organize it and take my mail and go. And so like I think that's kind of the finding the one person that's like one day of every other week I'm coming over and you give me your list of stuff and then so I think it's just been like, I'll get to it. I'll do it later.
Yeah. What about going to a local college where they might have film students? Could even be photo students. Doesn't have to be video. Could be photo, right? Where they're trying to learn. Because I went to college for photography. Had to take one business class the entire time. Finding a student looking for an internship or even just part-time work to learn more about business could be an easy way to not only have a sort of an assistant locally, but also somebody that maybe you like the person's work and maybe they can now be an assistant at the wedding for you.
Manager. Yeah, no, I think that's really smart. And at one point I had 11 employees and lots of interns, I had a photography team, video team, editors, everything in-house. And I think that I have a little PTSD from teaching all these people that ended up starting their own businesses and competing with me. But I do love that idea. Like I do think that there's someone that could do that kind of stuff for me. And I will accept your challenge, see if I can find somebody.
So when I was in college, I was assisting for 2 incredible portrait photographers. And like I'm talking like doing magazine covers, and this is also pre-Photoshop airbrushing, so it was like legit like makeup airbrushing. It was a little over the top stuff. But I was doing admin tasks quite often. Go get this gear from the studio and come back to the location. Like it was things that like I'm not necessarily learning when I have to do an errand like that. I'm not necessarily learning the task, but I'm still learning the business, right? And then I get back to the whatever location it was, and they're like, "Okay, Scott, set up this light," and it's like, "Yay! I get to play with lights now." So
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, awesome. So John, this is fantastic. I love diving into a topic that I'm not 100% familiar with, right? As I said, I dabble in video. Heck, this podcast is recorded in video, but I'm not. I'm far from even I'm so far from the word expert when it comes to video. So I love the fact that I get to learn big time on this topic. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing some of these good workflow nuggets with us. Where can all the listeners learn more about you, see your wedding work, and also your education?
Yeah, And I thank you for that. Thanks for having me on. I love talking about these kinds of things. I have 2 different spots. People can find my wedding work. My name, just John Bunn with a B, B-U-N-N, films on Instagram, just at John Bunn Films. And then the education brand is called at How to Film Weddings. So we teach video, photo, that sort of thing. We've got about 410, I think, so episodes at this point. A lot of wedding filmmakers. We're expanding, adding more photo content and things like that. So a lot of changes going on over there. But at John Bunn Films and at How to Film Weddings, feel free to shoot me a DM if you have questions about video, any of that kind of stuff. I'm here to help. I love educating and love meeting new people all over the world.
Amazing. And I'm going to try to get you back on in the future once Imagine Video has evolved even further and offers more of what you're looking to accomplish with Imagine on the video side. So
I can't wait.
I'm really excited to have that conversation down the road as well.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you so much for this platform and let me come on it and let me chat with you. It's so good to meet you, and I appreciate you and the whole team.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well. You have been listening to the Workflows Photography Podcast. To hear more from Workflows, to learn more about our guest, and for an exclusive offer for Workflows listeners, please go to workflowspodcast.com. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.